So take a seat, everybody. If by any chance you feel like when you sit down your feet aren't touching the floor, I know I've sat in many chairs where my feet don't touch the floor, I'm quite short. It would be nice to put your feet on something so your knees and your hips are in line. I'll also mention that we're not sitting in the chair and leaning against the back of the chair. When we sit in chair yoga, we want to feel quite aligned like we feel when we're in our mountain pose. So make sure that your feet are under your hips. Sorry, your feet are hip distance apart. I went on autopilot then. So just make sure your feet are hip distance apart, your ankles are under your knees, and you want to feel like your spine can lengthen. So make sure your core stability muscles are engaged. And for me, to be comfortable and to feel aligned and to feel quite strong in my body, it means sitting quite far out on the edge of the chair. So that may be the same for you too. But you want to feel like you're quite grounded through the base of your body and lengthened and open through your upper body. So just start shaking your hands. Start to loosen up and move. Wake your body up if you've just rolled out of bed. And get your elbows moving. And shrug your shoulders. We want to really get into our shoulders today. The movements that we're going to practice, I'm hoping will help us to release some of that emotional baggage and stress that we hold onto in our neck and our shoulders. So let's loosen up through that area. Just give your shoulders a really good shrug and then shake out through your legs. Shake your legs in a way that gets a really good little wobble moving up into your hips. Oh, it's really foggy outside. Over here, I don't know if it's the same everywhere else. Hopefully that means it'll be a really nice afternoon, really sunny. So swap sides, start shaking out on the other side. Good little wobble moving up into your hip. And then plant your feet. Make sure your feet are still under your knees. I was going to say hips again. So from here, just roll your shoulders a couple of times. This little movement we're about to do can be done really strongly, or you can keep it quite flowy and easy. I would prefer you to keep it flowy and easy because we're going to repeat it quite a bit. So what you want to do is give yourself a cuddle. Just place one hand on your shoulder and the other hand on your other shoulder. If your neck or shoulders are quite tired or sore, that in itself might be a bit of a hard task. So you could slide your hands a little bit further down your arms and just hold your elbows instead if that feels better for you. So what we want to do, let's all do the same side together so we don't get confused. So let's do the right arm on top of the left and give ourselves a bit of a cuddle. My screen's just stopped. Hopefully it looks like you guys are cool. I'm going to keep teaching. If anybody's video has dropped out, let me know. But it looks like we've still got internet. I've just lost the screen. So make sure your feet are planted. Giving yourself a cuddle, hands on your shoulders. Lift your elbows up to shoulder height, but at the same time relax your shoulders. So quite often when we lift our shoulders up to, when we lift our elbows up to shoulder height, quite often our shoulders lift up as well. See if you can keep your shoulders relaxed, but lift your elbows up. And then from here, make sure your core stability muscles are engaged. So lift up through your pelvic floor, drawing your lower abdominal, and lift up through your sternum slightly. You want to feel quite open through your chest and lengthen through your spine. And then start to make small circles with your elbows. If it feels comfortable for you, you can start to make those circles wider, bigger. Just pay attention to your shoulders and even your shoulder blades at the back. Just allow yourself to move freely, making those circles wider and wider. And to get your upper back and your lower back and your hips involved, you may like to take your feet out wider and start to make those circles quite wide. So you're coming into a little bit of a forward bend to make the circles wide. And just pay attention to the sides of your body. Pay attention to your hips and your lower back, and continue to circle around. And then come around in the opposite direction. Just making those circles quite wide as is comfortable for you. It may be, if your shoulders are quite tight and uncomfortable, it may mean keeping your circles quite small. So let's start to make those circles smaller and smaller. Coming back up to center. Nice small circles. And then release your arms, give your shoulders a bit of a shrug. And we'll do that on the opposite side. So this time we want to do the same thing. You can even have your feet out a bit wider to start with for this one. So this time you want your left arm on top. So give yourself a cuddle, hang on to opposite shoulders just gently, or opposite elbows. Make sure your core is engaged. Lift your elbows up to shoulder height. Drop your shoulders. Make sure your shoulders aren't tensing up before we start to move. And then start to make small circles with your elbows. Just rolling around, making those circles wider and wider if that feels comfortable for you. Paying attention to not only your shoulders, but your shoulder blades at the back. Get a bit of a, I guess, massage-like sensation from this movement. So you can start to make your circles wider if that feels good. So bringing the sides of your body and your lower back and your hips into the equation. Just make sure you're moving slowly and easily, carefully. And whatever you're doing feels comfortable and okay in your body. Actually, you want it to feel more than okay. You want this to feel almost like a massage for your body, a nice unwinding from any tight spots, any niggly spots in your body. So come around in the opposite direction. And start to make your circles smaller and smaller. Eventually coming back to your center and letting your arms drop. Give your shoulders another really good shrug here. Lift them up and down and just let them drop. And then let's just come back into your sitting mountain pose, let's call it. So your heels under your knees, your feet hip distance apart, your core muscles engaged. You're lifting up through your pelvic floor, drawing in your lower abdominals, lifting through your sternum and just tucking your chin back. And from here, lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Take a really deep breath in. And then enjoy a big sigh out as you let your shoulders drop. Let's do that again a few times. So big breath in as you lift your shoulders up. Big sigh out, release. And again, breathing in as you lift. Breathing out as you release. Bit of a wiggle. Have a drink of water if you need it. And then we're going to do a few movements for our neck to begin with. Quite often, I feel like with what's going on with the world at the moment, everybody's just exhausted. We're being bombarded with information, our emotions are being triggered, there's so much going on. And I feel like when we're tired and we're in this emotional state, quite often our neck and shoulders suffer. You know, it's really hard to hold your head up when you're tired. All you want to do is have this posture. We do hold the weight of the world on our shoulders. We do end up getting quite tense through this area when there's a lot going on. So let's give this area quite a bit of attention today. And TLC too, not just attention. We're not just going on autopilot and doing the movements that I tell you to do. We want to move really fluidly and flow our body, almost like a massage in motion, almost like a meditation in motion too. So just make sure you're still in your sitting tight mountain pose. Even though we're going to move our neck, we want to make sure our core muscles are engaged. So lift up through your pelvic floor, draw in your lower abdominals and lift up through your sternum. Don't do that in a way that is so strong you can't breathe. You just want to do it in a way that gives you extra stability so you can move with more confidence. So before we start moving our neck, just grab, be careful if you've got earrings on, but just grab your earlobes and give them a bit of a pull down. There's muscles that attach behind our ears from our neck, and this can help release them. And give your ears a bit of a pull. It also warms you up a lot, so you may find your ears and your face get quite warm from this. So just a bit of a pull through your ears. You may like to open your mouth. I'm just going to do this on one side because my earpiece keeps falling out. You may like to open your mouth and do it to help you release through your jaw as well. And then you can work your way up your ears. Do it on both sides. I'm just not doing this side because of my earpiece. So do it both sides and just work your way up your ear. Just unrolling that cute little curvy bit of your ear. And then come up and down a couple of times. Play with your ears. Just pull on that earlobe. And just make sure whatever position your mouth's in, that you feel like it's in a position where your jaw's relaxed. And then you can start pulling your ear just gently and then kind of giving it a bit of a wiggle as well. Just play around. I know it feels really weird, but play around with it. It can help us to release through our neck. So the other thing you can do is you can pop your thumb in the middle of your ear. Don't poke it in really hard, but you just put it in the middle of your ear and you grab hold of the outside bit of your ear. You can just wiggle it around a bit. Do that on both sides. And then pull through your ear again. Just do that a few more times. And then relax. Move your shoulders, wiggle your hips. Come back into your mountain pose. And just pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Take your awareness into your body and whatever sensations have been created by playing with the ears. You may feel a bit warmer through your face, through your ears. You may feel a bit tingly, or open, or expanded. We want to come into some really simple neck movements to help us release any tension we may be holding on to in our neck. So these are all movements we've practiced in class before. So start by making sure you are quite strong in your spine and your core. Taking your chin forward a centimetre or so. We're not taking our chin as far as we can go forward, we're just taking it out a little bit. Letting the weight of your head drop down, so your chin drops down towards your chest. And then let's tuck our chin in and unroll one vertebra at a time. So we want to turn this into a flow. So chin comes forward, chin comes towards your chest. And tuck your chin in and unroll through your spine. And continue these movements nice and slow. Moving as slowly and as fluidly as you can. This is a nice way to isolate the vertebra in your neck. It's like a really nice spinal wave just for your neck. So on that unroll, you may like to imagine each vertebra just stacking back on top of each other. You may also like to imagine rolling your chin around a small ball. So we're getting that nice fluid movement. And we never want to force the movement in our neck. You want to keep this really gentle. So if you feel like you're not doing much, that's perfect. That's what we're aiming for. Our neck tension and tightness in our neck responds really beautifully to TLC, gentle movement. I learnt that one the hard way, so don't learn it the hard way like me. So let's continue just to flow our neck. We've got all the time in the world, so move slowly. Paying attention to how your neck moves as you release forward. As you move, just make sure the muscles in your face stay relaxed. Your jaw as relaxed as it can be. And just making sure your shoulders are also at ease. And just rolling and unrolling a couple more times here. These neck movements are the perfect movements to do while sitting at the computer if you work at a computer. Let's do that one more time. Chin comes forward, drops towards your chest. And then you unroll carefully. So once you've unrolled, just roll your shoulders a couple of times. And then once again, make sure your core muscles are engaged. Get that sense of your spine lengthening from the base of your spine all the way up through the crown of your head. And then from here, take one of your ears over to the side and then let it drop down towards your shoulder. Relax both of your shoulders, let your shoulders relax. If this is too intense for you, just turn your head to look down at the floor. If not, just leave it in a position that's comfortable for you. You might want to take your opposite arm to what side your head's going to, and you might want to let that arm drop down to the side. And just pay attention to your breath and allow the side of your neck to release. You may like to use your breath. Every time you breathe in, become more aware of where you feel the stretch. Every time you breathe out, sending that out breath and that release to those muscles that are stretching to help them soften. So relax through all the muscles in your face, relax through your jaw. And use your breath to help your body relax. So breathing in, you pay attention to what's going on in your neck, what what feels tight, what feels like it's stretchy. And then every time you breathe out, sending that out breath to help that muscle soften. And for any of that tension to just dissolve away from you. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. Relax through your eyes, through your jaw, through your shoulder, through the length of this arm even. Just breathing in and out. Nice slow deep breathing. No force, no effort. Just that conscious awareness of using your breath to help your body feel better. And then very carefully, slowly come back up to center. Once again, get that sense of length through your spine from your base to the crown of your head. And then take your opposite ear over to the side and let it drop towards your shoulder. Take your opposite hand to what way your head's going and let that arm drop. Turn your head if the stretch is too intense for you. And then from here, just breathe. Use your breath to help your body relax. So every time you breathe in, you're noticing the stretch. Every time you breathe out, you're allowing the muscles that are stretching to soften. So relax through your jaw, through your shoulder, through the muscles in your face. Relax through your temples. And if you're feeling any muscles that are stretching, that are kind of those headachy muscles, just soften back a bit. You don't want to overdo it with these muscles. It can give us a headache. So, like I said before, we just want to give our neck some TLC. So do that with your breath, breathing in and out. Letting this arm become heavier and heavier. Allowing the side of your neck to soften. Any of those muscles that feel tight to loosen. A couple more deep, slow breaths here. And once again, really carefully lift your head back up to center. Roll your shoulders a couple of times. And then once again, take your chin forward a centimetre or so. Drop it towards your chest and just make sure that your core muscles are still on. So your pelvic floor is lifted, lower abdominals drawn in. You're lengthening through your spine. We're just moving our head and our neck. So your chin's dropped towards your chest. You're just letting gravity do that work. You're not forcing it. It's just a nice little gentle relax of your head forward. And then from here, just start to move your chin gently from side to side. So you don't want to move it too far. It's almost like you're just tracing the outline of your collarbone. You're not looking over to as far and extreme as you can. You're just letting the weight of your head drop forward and moving slowly from side to side. So once again, relax and release through your jaw, through all the muscles in your face as well, through your cheeks, through your eyes, through your temples. And move slowly. If If you feel like you're not doing much, that's perfect. That's what we want. You're moving nowhere near your extreme limit. We're just using flow and ease with these movements. Just breathing comfortably as you move your head from side to side. This is a really great movement to practice. I find it quite calming. Really nice way to release tension from your neck. So just continue to move from side to side a couple more times. And come back to your centre. Unroll through your neck in that same way we did previously. So tuck your chin in, rolling up one vertebra at a time. And roll your shoulders. Make sure you're still sitting quite tall. You're in your sitting type mountain pose, your body in alignment. And just start to move your head from side to side. Once again, we're not aiming to go to our extreme limit. We're just aiming for flow. A nice little movement from side to side as slowly as you can. Not using any effort. Just giving your neck back some TLC. And come back to center and roll your shoulders again. Have a sip of water if you need it. And we'll come back to the sit. So we want to do a few more movements before we relax. This next movement, we can practice it really strongly, but I prefer you to just pull it right back. You don't want to aggravate any tension that may be there in the first place. Because most of you know that I have neck and shoulder and wrist issues that I need to stay on top of. This little movement we're about to do is my absolute godsend. If I'm quite flared up, it can give me a headache if I push too hard though. So just take that advice on board. If you feel those kind of headachy muscular feelings, just pull it right back and make it easier for yourself. So what we want to do is take our arms out to the side. Actually, I might demonstrate it first because there's lots of different variations of this that we can practice. So I'll demo it and then we'll do it together. So traditionally we call this the eagle arms. Everybody's physiological makeup is different. So everybody has different shoulder joints. And so some people can do this with ease, some people need different variations. And it's not because I'm a better yogi or I've practiced for longer, that's why I can do this. It's because we've all got a different makeup. We can't change that. The eagle arms, what we do is we wrap our arms around each other and we bring the palms of our hands together. You may have seen this picture before, or we may have done this in class before. It's quite an iconic yoga way to put your arms in yoga. Not everybody's anatomical makeup will be able to do this though. So what other options we've got is we can, I'm just coming to the side because I think you'll be able to see it better. So the other option we've got is we still wrap our arms around each other, but I'll demonstrate this side so you can see it. We still take one arm on top of the other. We bend our elbows and our arms come up like this. The options you've got here is to either put the back of your hand on the back of your forearm there, or you can put the back of your hand on the back of your wrist, or somewhere in between. So for me, because my anatomical makeup is different, I find that a real struggle. But for me, if I wrap my arm around and bring my palms together, so my hand is touching my palm, that's more comfortable for me. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to put our arms in that position. So just make sure you're still sitting in your mountain pose, your heels under your knees hip distance apart, your core stability muscles on. You want your sternum lifted, your chest quite open without any force though. And relax through your shoulders. Give them another little shrug before we do this. And take your arms out to the side, keep your elbows bent, shoulders are quite dropped. And then let's all do the same side together. So let's take our right arm on top of our left. Take it out as far as you can. And then lift your arms, your forearms up to upright. And then either bring the back of your left hand to your right forearm, or the back of your left hand to somewhere higher up here. Or bring your left fingers to your right palm, wrapping them around your body. Or wrapping them around your wrist, I should say. This is really tricky to teach, especially with no one in front of you, sorry. But I really wanted to share this with you because it really, really, really helps me release tension from my shoulders and my neck. So you may be feeling quite a stretch already. It may be through your shoulder. It may even be around through the back of your shoulder blade. That's certainly where I feel this stretch a lot. So from here, what we want to do, you can either hold this position here, if that's enough of a stretch for you. Just make sure that your spine's still nice and tall. You're not leaning forward, you're not struggling. So make sure your core's strong, your spine's upright. If you want more of a stretch and you want to take this a little bit further, lift your elbows up to shoulder height and push them forward just a little bit. And then from here, what you want to do is just let your head drop to one side. So you're getting a stretch through your shoulder and through your neck at the same time. And then we're going to rest here for a couple of deep breaths. So take a few deep breaths. This is the type of stretch that becomes more intense when you breathe in. So notice that intensity. And then notice the intensity relaxing and softening as you breathe out. So breathing in, paying attention to that stretch becoming deeper. And as you breathe out, letting it soften. One more deep breath on this side. And then let's take our head to the opposite side and once again breathe deep. Use your breath to help yourself release. Every time you breathe out, letting the intensity of the stretch to soften. The benefits of the stretch to start to flow to you as well. So one more deep breath on this side. And then release your arms slowly, take them out to the side. And slowly let them flow down. Give your shoulders a bit of a shrug. And then we want to practice that on the opposite side. So just move your shoulders around if you need to, just to release any intense sensations. Just move your elbows around in circles. And around in the opposite direction. And then take your arms out to the side. Make sure your core's still engaged, your spine's lengthened. This time we want our left arm on top. Or did we do that one before? Oh my goodness, I can't remember. That's why you've got a teacher. So it is the left arm on top. Lift your elbows up. Hang on, let me double check. Yeah, it is the left. So we definitely want the left arm on top this time. So you want your arms to come as far over to the side as you can. Then your forearms come to upright. You'll either bring your right back of your hand to your left forearm, or the right back of your hand to your left wrist, or you can bring your right fingertips into your left palm of your hand, wrapping your arm around each other. So once you find a position that's comfortable for you, just check in with yourself. Notice where you feel the stretch, whether or not it's intense or you're not feeling much. And you can either stay here and just breathe and move your neck when we move our neck, or if you want to kind of have a bit more of an intense stretch, lift your elbows up to shoulder height and just take them forward, just a couple of millimeters. Make sure the muscles in your face stay relaxed. And let your head drop to one side. Doesn't matter what side, we'll do the other side soon. So once again, we want to breathe deeply. So let's take 3 deep breaths. Really deep and slow breathing. Noticing the stretch become more intense as you breathe in. Your lungs expand. And as you breathe out, softening and letting yourself relax into what you're doing. Just 2 more deep breaths. And then take your head carefully over to the opposite side, and 3 more deep breaths on this side too. Feeling into the stretch, feeling into your shoulders, maybe top of your shoulders, maybe your shoulder blades at the back. And then letting the whole area soften as you breathe out. And then once again, bringing your head back up to center, carefully unravel your arms, take them out to the side, and slowly let them drop down. Once again, make circles with your elbows in each different direction. And give your shoulders a bit of a shrug. And then from here, just double check that your core is still on. Have a little lean to the side and drop one of your arms to the side. Just let it dangle in the air. You may need to change your position so it's right in the air. It's not touching the chair. Use your other hand to hold onto the chair. So a little lean to the side here. Make sure your core is quite strong to protect your lower back. You can even hold your lower back here if that's what you prefer. And then what we want to do is give our arm a really good wobble. So you're leaning to the side. You want to shake out through your hand. You want to wobble through your arm. You want to do this quite intensely. So really shaking things up a bit. Wobble, shrug your shoulder, flick your fingers, just make up lots of different things you can do to really get your arm wobbling around and moving. Move your elbow, forearm, shoulder, shrugs. And then take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, let your arm just hang. So you can really hold on to the side of your chair with your opposite arm and just let that arm dangle. And continue to let it just be completely supported by gravity, completely supported by the air around you, allowing any tension in your face, your jaw, your neck, and your shoulder to just drain away from you, out and down through your arm. Just letting any tightness, letting any discomfort just drop away from you with ease. Use your breath to help this process. So breathing in, and as you breathe out, you allow more of a release through your arm. Breathing in and out. That out breath helping you to just let go of any stagnation or emotional baggage from your body. You don't need to know what it is. Just let any of that just stuff that weighs you down to drop away from you. A few more breaths in and out. Carefully come back up to center. Before we do that on the opposite side, just pay attention to the difference between that side and this side. The side you've released may feel more relaxed, but your arm may also feel longer. So let's do that on the opposite side. So start by holding onto your chair with the opposite arm. Make sure your core is strong so we're not hurting our lower back. Little lean to the side and have a really good shake out through your arm. So shaking your fingers, wobbling your arm around, getting all the muscles wobbling around and moving, all your joints moving. Shake through, shrug through your shoulder. Flick through your fingers. You want this movement to be quite intense and a bit erratic too. You want to get a bit of movement happening. Quite a lot of sensation happening here. So wrists, good little wobble. Shake it out quite a bit, shrug your shoulder. And take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you let your arm drop. So letting all the muscles in the side of your face, your neck, your shoulder, any tension, any unease, any tiredness, just dropping away from your body. It just drops out of your arm as your arm just dangles there loosely. Releasing. On your out breath, imagine your out breath just traveling down your arm. The weight of the world just dissolving away from your body. It slides down your arm, out your fingers, drops back down into the earth. Just using your breath to help your body release. Follow your breath. Continue to breathe, release, soften through your arm, through your shoulder, through your neck, through your jaw, through all the muscles in your face and your head. Getting the relief and the TLC that they need. And then the next time you breathe out, just carefully come back up to center. Pop your hands on your thighs. And like we did earlier, actually before you do that, just make sure your core's still engaged. Nice strong through your core. And then drop your chin towards your chest. Just let the weight of your head do that. You're not forcing that movement. Notice the back of your neck. And then really slowly start to slide your hands down your legs and let your body come into whatever forward bend suits you. So if you've got a tendency to get dizzy or feel quite heady in forward bends, just come down to here. But if you like a nice full forward bend, take your hands all the way down to your feet and lift your heels. And then carefully drop your heels. Slide your hands up your legs and unroll through your spine. Your chin, the last part of your body to come up. We're going to do that a few times with our breath. So take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, take your chin to your chest, slide your hands down. When your hands come to a position that's comfortable for you, lift your heels. And then the next time you need to breathe in, drop your heels. Slide your hands back up, unroll through your spine. One vertebra at a time. Exaggerate that spinal wave. Next time you need to breathe out, drop your chin, slide your hands down your legs. Let your body follow. Nice and easy, nice and slow, just breathing naturally. When your hands get to a position that's comfortable for you, lift your heels. And then the next time you need to breathe in, slowly drop your heels. Slide your hands back up your legs. Unroll through your spine. Exaggerate that unrolling. Lift your chin slightly as you come up. Let's continue just in your own time. You don't need to follow me. It's an out breath on the way down and an in breath on the way up. Lifting your heels. And then slowly lowering your heels as you unroll. Little lift through your chin. And we'll do that a few more times. So start with your head and allow the rest of your body to follow. Lifting your heels, unrolling through your spine, nice and easy. And the next time you unroll, just pause for a moment. Place your hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And just take a moment to breathe. Notice both your hands moving as you breathe in and out. Breathing as slowly as is comfortable for you. There's absolutely no rush. Just pay attention to the warmth of your hand on your belly, your chest. And notice your hands moving as you breathe. Such a simple technique brings such a high level of presence. Just continue to breathe, focusing on your hands, moving up and down in time with your breath. Don't force your breath to get your hands to move, just let it be a really nice natural rhythm. Feeling the warmth of your hands. You may even after a while start to get a sense of your heart beating as well. Breathing in and out, nice and slow. Just allowing yourself to be here now with your body and your breath. Everything else, just let it drop away from you. Even if it's just for the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Just be with your breath. Be with your body.